Hunt, good morning, man.
Good morning, guys.
I know that this is a topic for you that is very sad. You and I were talking about it in the early morning hours. But a Baton Rouge native, University High standout, former U High standout, and LSU basketball player, Wayde Sim, senselessly killed in the capital city overnight. I know this affected you as well. Just your initial thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I didn't know Wade. Obviously, I watched him play in high school, and I watched him play at LSU, and it's just sad and it's shocking. And every time something like this happens, my immediate reaction is that it's some sort of mixture of sadness, frustration, disappointment, and I just can't believe that we walk around every single day with so many people that are willing to take someone else's life over something so inconsequential and unimportant. I mean, what could possibly have happened where that is the end result? It's just disgusting to think about, but it's sad and can affect a lot of people in this city. And we're talking sports here, and we'll continue to talk sports. And the one thing that I don't know Wade, so the one thing I know about him is he played basketball for LSU, and I do know that he loved LSU. And y'all were talking in the first segment about the fact that he had to bust it to be a part of this program, and he did it because he loved playing for LSU. He loved being a part of LSU, and unfortunately, his he doesn't have a future here, and it's just devastating. I hate it for everyone involved, but it's just awful.
You think of the timing of it. LSU basketball set to really report to training camp today, and get the season going. Now dealing with grief counselors and the teammates talking about losing a teammate. I don't even know how to set up this next question, but how do you think this emotionally and immediately affects this team and how they start preparation?
It's going to be very difficult. I mean, especially for somebody like Skylar, who's known him for so long. I've got a very close friend who works with a former teammate of Wade's at U High, and said it's really shaking him up this morning. I mean, as you would expect. So everyone that was close to him, and when you're a part of, T-Bob knows this as well as anybody. When you're a part of a college athletic program, that's your family. You're with those people
Yeah.
more than you're with your actual family. I mean, they're your brothers. You're with them all the time. You live with them. You work out with them. You're at 5 o'clock in the morning running, and you're on national television with them as well. It's going to be a big deal. And I have full confidence that LSU will do everything they possibly can to help. But there's nothing you can really do. You can't bring him back. So it's a tough spot.
All right, Hunt. I'm going to move on and get talking about some football here with
Sure.
you. And LSU is going to host Ole Miss tomorrow night. That's set for an 8:15 kickoff. LSU's dealing with a ton of adversity around their offensive line going into the matchup. Ogeron announced yesterday that Adrian McGee likely going to go, but if he does go, he may play the left tackle side with Sadiq Charles missing practice on Wednesday. We know how the formula goes in Ogeron's camp and program. If you don't practice on Wednesday, it's tough for you to play on Saturday. What do you make of this unit going into Saturday night's contest?
It's a serious concern because at full strength, with the offensive line they took the field with on the first play against Miami, I think LSU dominates this game just because I don't think Ole Miss would have any answer to stop their offense. I mean, they didn't have any answer for Southern Illinois. Certainly didn't have one for Alabama. So you just dominate the game on the ground. You burn up time of possession. You don't allow Ole Miss's explosive offense on the field, and you salt away a pretty easy win like LSU was able to do in Oxford last year. Now, with some question marks up front, I question whether or not they can just roll over them, and it makes the game plan a little bit more intricate, I think. So it's a concern. I think LSU's still the better team. LSU's still going to be at home, so I still like LSU in the game, but I don't feel as good about it as I did because I just thought the biggest mismatch for LSU would be the offensive line against that weak Ole Miss front seven, and now you're not so certain that LSU can dominate that way.
And Hunt, let's talk about one of the other premier matchups in this game. That is the nasty wideout order. The three receivers for Ole Miss. It's actually more like four, but either way, that group against this LSU defense and Dave Aranda. How do you see that one playing out?
Yeah, I was talking about this with Jacob earlier this week, and to me, when I've watched a decent amount of Ole Miss this year, these three guys to me look like Dwayne Bowe, Buster Davis, and Early Doucette. Like they're that good. I mean, A.J. Brown is a top 12 pick. DeMarcus Lodge was the number one wide receiver in the country, a 5-star with great size. And then you look at Metcalf, who's like 6'4" himself and runs like a deer. Like they're good. These guys are going to play in the NFL, and LSU is really good on the back end. You obviously know about Greedy, and you feel good about Delpit, and Fulton's coming along. But this is a situation where I don't think it's realistic to expect LSU to shut this passing game down. If Ole Miss is going to throw it 45 times, they're going to make some plays. LSU's just got, I think, to do a good job of making sure that they control time possession on offense and continue to score points, because I don't know that it's realistic to expect to hold this Ole Miss offense down for 4 quarters.
And as far as LSU's offense goes, how do you see this game plan working out? Like, do you expect them to be more run-heavy, more pass-heavy? How do you think Steve Ensminger looks to attack what is, as you said, a terrible Ole Miss defense?
Yeah, I expect it to be run-heavy first. That Ole Miss linebacking core is just bad. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. They don't tackle well. They're not deep. They're not talented. They're just not good. And so I'm gonna pound away at that unless they just bring 9 up there and just force you to throw one-on-one. I mean, at that point, I think Steve Ensminger will take what they give you. But I anticipate that LSU will probably spread the field, make sure there's 3 wide receivers out there so that Ole Miss can't put everybody in the box. And I think they'll run the ball out of the shotgun with both backs, and I think they'll do it with some success.
Hunt Palmer joining us here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio. You can check Hunt on Twitter at HuntPalmer88. We said all week defensively, Dave Aranda's performance, his group's performance versus Louisiana Tech last week, the exception, really not the rule. You expect that group to bounce back after giving up 300 in the air last Saturday night?
I do. I didn't think the scheme was bad. Like, I didn't think there were a bunch of busted coverages and guys out of place. I thought there were missed tackles more than you've seen, and I thought that LSU's DBs didn't do a great job of just playing the ball. Greedy's always been great at that, and I expect more of that. But the other guys in the secondary on one-on-one balls that are thrown up down the field, they got to go make plays. Now, that's easier said than done when A.J. Brown and Metcalf and those guys are 6'4", 6'5", and can run. But that seemed to me to be the issue against Louisiana Tech. Those Tech wide receivers made plays against LSU DBs in one-on-one coverage. So I'm not sure how Aranda deals with it. Obviously, they want to put pressure on Tamu, and I think it's Ole Miss offense when you look at it. It's not like Texas Tech where the ball comes out immediately. They want to throw the ball down the field. They want to make big, explosive plays in the deep passing game. You can eliminate that with some pressure. So LSU's got to try to get more pressure than they did last week, where they didn't get a sack against Louisiana Tech until into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and that's one of the key questions for me is how does Dave Aranda look to attack Tom? Is it more like Malik Rozier, where they did add a bunch of bodies into the pass rush, or is it more like Auburn, where they creatively rush with 4, but they're consistently dropping 7 in coverage? Be interested to find out. We're talking to Hunt Palmer here on 104.5, 100.3, ESPN's Off the Bench. Hunt, who's going to have more rushing yards by the end of the game, Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Nick Brissett?
That's a good question. First of all, I liked what I saw from Clyde in the game last week. I think he's faster than Brissett. He's a little bit more explosive. I think Nick's vision is fantastic, and I think he gets you what's blocked. I think Clyde's got a little bit more juice to him. So I think you're going to continue to see him woven into the offense, and I'll go ahead and say it might be Clyde.
All right, Hunt, we'll be tuning in tomorrow, man. The broadcast, that's a late broadcast for you getting off the air, bro.
Oh, my God, I'm going to be off at like 1:30, and then the Ryder Cup turns around on Sunday morning, like right after that.
You dialed in right now?
I am dialed in right now. I got up at 1 o'clock this morning to check it out.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
No, absolutely. Oh. T-Bob, think about this. Think if you were only allowed to play whatever board game you play once every 2 years, and that was the only time you ever.
It's a hell of an analogy for you, bro.
No, I mean it's fair.
Right in.
Yeah, and look, to be fair, I've woken up at like 3 for World Cup stuff before, for like League of Legends stuff. So yeah, fair play, Hunt.
Hunt, one team. Who's going to win the NL Central?
Oh
man,
watch out.
The Brewers are better than the Cubs, but I think we've now, over the last 2 days, winning those 2 games, I think the Cubs have a good chance.
Talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Later on.